The U.S. carries out new airstrike attacks here within the last 24 hours, as it looks like new attacks are coming every single day against the U.S. and the U.S. attacking. Also, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Russia's second in line, their former president, threaten that they are going to take back Alaska. That's right. As it looks like World War III is right on the verge. Also, a new member coming into NATO, which Putin will not like at all. I'll give you all the details in this video. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking these videos. Here we go. Okay, so now it looks like the US is finally attacking back here almost on a daily basis now. US carries out airstrikes on Iranian-backed militias in Iraq, and Iran is starting to finally realize that maybe the US isn't a pushover after the US has been attacked over 200 times this year in the Middle East. Take a listen here.
A tweet from Jennifer Griffin, who's on the ground in Washington, D.C., as the U.S. conducted those airstrikes in Iraq targeting Iranian proxy groups south of Baghdad. This is a group that has been sanctioned by the U.S. government and believed responsible for Saturday's ballistic missile attack on the airbase and today's attack as well. All right, we want to bring in right now friend of the program, Hal Kemper, retired Marine intelligence officer. Thanks again for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And this was a retaliatory airstrike. Austin called it necessary and proportionate. Maybe what does necessary and proportionate mean, Hal?
Well, necessary and proportionate is basically a response to what happened. They hit 3 different locations. It was multiple airstrikes, very targeted. Interesting, it was at Al Assad Air Base. I was stationed at Al Assad Air Base over in Iraq years back. And it was launched, and the attacks were south of Baghdad. Al Assad is north of Baghdad, so this is a considerable distance south. Gives you an idea of the type of missiles, the ballistic missiles are used. They had some range on them, and they went ahead and attacked. This is the first time we've done a strike mission in Iraq like this since the first part of the year. So this was a significant event for us to go ahead and do that. The other thing I should mention is that we're being very careful about doing strike missions, any type of military operations in Iraq, because of the political sensitivity with the prime minister. There's a lot of feeling. They're very concerned that they're going to get caught in the crossfire of what's going on in the Middle East right now. As you saw, this is a derivative of the Iranian proxy group Hezbollah. It's an Iraqi derivative. It's actually in the predominantly Shiite area of Iraq in the south, and that's where they did the strike. So a lot of thought went into this. The targets obviously very carefully picked, and a lot of potential political repercussions. And I'm sure we're working that on the diplomatic front with the Iraqi government.
Yeah, and this is because the United States and multiple other different countries keep getting attacked in the Red Sea, in that canal there in the Middle East. And Iran and the Houthis just keep attacking. And they really seems like they just don't care. And it's a war zone over there. It's a war zone over there. Not to mention we have, a major war going on there. Hamas has attacked Israel. We have another war with Russia and Ukraine. And this is why a lot of people think World War III has already started. And will this get even larger? Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin's nightmare, Russia's president, is kind of happening here. Turkey approves Sweden's NATO's membership bid after 20-month delay. They will now be joining NATO, which the United States is in, and I think they will be the 32nd country. They're expected to sign the legislation within days, leaving Hungary, whose prime minister has friendly relations with Russian President Vladimir Putin, as the only member state to not approve Sweden's membership into NATO so far. Meanwhile, Russia, Vladimir Putin, and their former president, who is a very high-ranking official in Russia, Kremlin hardliner Dmitry Medvedev, warns of, quote, unavoidable conflict and smirking threat to the U.S. over Alaska. And U.S., quote, laughs off Putin's Alaska report, saying, quote, he's not getting Alaska back. Now, mind you, if you've been watching my channel for a while, this is not the first time that Vladimir Putin, Russia, or even Russian elected lawmakers have said multiple times that they're going to, or hinted at, or have said, even in their Russian parliament, that they're going to take back Russian, former Russian land, aka Alaska. Yeah, so just think about this for a second. Yeah, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev threatens the US as Alaska dispute escalates online amid Putin's latest moves. Pro Kremlin voices on social media have expressed strange optimism that Russia might somehow challenge the US sovereignty over Alaska. This follows an order by Russian President Vladimir Putin directing authorities in Russia to search for foreign lands that once belonged to the former USSR and the Russian Empire and register ownership over them. This shows you here that Vladimir Putin's number one goal is to put back the former USSR, the former Russian Empire, by any means necessary. No matter how crazy it may sound or how crazy they may be, including trying to get back Alaska, which they sold to the United States hundreds of years ago, they somehow think they can take it back from the United States, which is crazy. Take a look here. Although Putin's decree did not explicitly name Alaska or any lands specifically, Washington has firmly told Moscow that attempts to claim the U.S. territory will not be tolerated. Quote, I think I speak for all of us in the U.S. government to say that certainly Putin is not getting it back, said the State Department Principal Deputy Spokesman Vedant Patel, commenting on Russian claims about allegedly unlawful sale of Alaska in 1867. So this has already elicited a official response from the United States. Seriously. Kremlin jester Dmitry Medvedev, who holds the symbolic position of deputy head of Security Council in Russia, stumbled into the discourse over Alaska and perhaps over a few drinks, came up with empty threats to take the United States to war, saying, quote, according to a State Department representative, Russia is not getting back Alaska, which was sold to the United States in the 19th century. He wrote on January 23rd on his English language account on X, formerly known as Twitter, putting a smiley face at the end to signify that he was unfazed by this delusional statement. He then writes, quote, this is it then, and we've been waiting for it to be returned any day now. Quote, now war is unavoidable. This is what he actually writes on X, known as most people on Twitter. Yeah, can't make this stuff up, guys. So, as you can see here by these headlines, the U.S. State Department has actually commented back to Russia that they're not getting Alaska back. And the Kremlin says the conflict is unavoidable. And, this is they've said this multiple times about them getting Alaska back. They keep repeating it over and over and over. Like it's more than a joke at this point, right? And don't forget, this is exactly what China is trying to do to Taiwan. literally take back their territory. And also, don't forget, this is exactly what Russia is doing to Ukraine, trying to take back their territory by force. And also, don't forget, this is exactly how they took Crimea. They literally just went back and took it. Yeah. So I will keep you up to date. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't yet, thank you so much for liking these videos. Please subscribe down below. Click the subscribe button, then the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. Of course, it's completely free to do so, and new videos come out here every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click here to see how you could get $2,000 from Congress, or click here to see how a highly contagious disease is spreading in the US right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.